Right now, somewhere in your body, a blood vessel that used to open wide and fast is opening slower than it did 10 years ago. And that single change is quietly draining your energy, your stamina, and yes, your performance in the bedroom. Stay with me for the next few minutes because before this video ends, you are going to know exactly why that is happening and exactly what to eat today to start reversing it. If you are over 60 and you have noticed your legs feel heavier on the stairs, your hands and feet stay cold even in a warm room, or the response you used to count on in the bedroom just is not as reliable as it once was, you are not losing your mind and you are not simply getting old. Something specific is happening inside your body, and it has a name and it has a solution, and both of those things are what we are covering today. I'm Dr. Hana Maya, urologist with over 30 years of experience, helping men like you regain their energy, performance, and vitality. If you're new, welcome to the channel. Before we go any further, if you're serious about protecting your prostate, staying strong, and living without fear, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I share real information backed by real science for men just like you. And if this topic matters to you, type 1 in the comments and tell me where in the world you're watching from. If not, type 0 so I know how to help you better next time. Now, let's get into it. Let's talk about why this happens in the first place. Because once you understand the cause, the solution is going to make perfect sense. Picture your circulatory system as a river that feeds every part of your body, your heart, your brain, your muscles, and yes, the tissue responsible for a strong and reliable response in the bedroom. When you were younger, that river ran wide and fast. As the decades pass, the river banks narrow. Sediment builds along the walls and the current that once moved freely starts to slow down. That slowing current is what many men mistake for simply getting older. In reality, it is a measurable physical change happening inside your blood vessels. Your body produces less nitric oxide as you age, and nitric oxide is the signal that tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. Without enough of it, even healthy vessels cannot carry the blood they used to. Add years of low-grade inflammation and small amounts of plaque building along artery walls, and you get exactly what so many of my patients describe to me. Cold hands, cold feet, tired legs, a shorter fuse, and a bedroom life that feels like a shadow of what it used to be. Here's the part I want you to really hear because it changes everything. This is not a life sentence. Your blood vessels are living tissue, and living tissue can respond to what you feed it. Give your circulation the right daily fuel, and your body will start repairing itself in ways that surprise most men. I have watched it happen in my own clinic more times than I can count. And today, I am going to walk you through the 3 foods that make the biggest difference, the order in which they work together, and exactly how to use them starting tonight. Before we get to food number 1, let me give you a quick preview so you know what is coming. Because the third food on this list works through a pathway most men have never even heard of. And once I explain it, you are going to understand why I saved it for last, but we build from the ground up. So let's start with the food that gets your circulation moving in the first place. Food 1, beets, the nitrate powerhouse. Beets are not glamorous, and most men walk right past them in the grocery store. But inside that deep red root is one of the most researched circulation-boosting compounds available in any food dietary nitrate. When you eat beets, your body converts that nitrate into nitric oxide, the very molecule your body starts producing less of after 60. That means beets are not just supporting your circulation, they are directly refilling a supply your body has been running low on for years. Here is what that means in practice. More nitric oxide means your blood vessels can relax and widen more easily. That means more oxygen-rich blood reaching your muscles during a walk. More blood reaching your brain, so your focus feels sharper, and more blood reaching the tissue responsible for a strong, dependable response in the bedroom. This is not a small effect either. Studies on beet juice and nitroteric vegetables have shown measurable improvements in blood flow within hours of consumption, which is faster than almost anything else on this list. Let me tell you about a patient of mine. Walter, 66 years old, a retired mechanic who came to see me because he was struggling with fatigue that never seemed to lift and a bedroom life that had become a source of quiet frustration for both him and his wife. Instead of starting him on medication, right away I asked him to try one simple change: a small glass of fresh beet juice or a serving of roasted beets every single day. Within 2 weeks, Walter told me his afternoon energy crash was gone. By the 6-week mark, he told me with a bit of a grin that things in the bedroom were starting to feel like they used to. That is the power of feeding your circulation instead of ignoring it. So how do you actually use beets for the best results? Roast them with a little olive oil and eat a serving most days of the week. Or blend raw beets into a juice with an apple to soften the earthy taste. If you prefer convenience, unsweetened beet juice from the store works well too. Just watch for added sugar. The nitrate content is highest when beets are fresh or lightly cooked, so avoid overcooking them into mush and avoid canned beets packed in heavy syrup. Beets open the door for better circulation, but on their own, they are only the beginning. The next food on this list works on a completely different part of the puzzle, and it involves a nutrient most men have never connected to their bedroom performance at all. Stick with me because this one surprises almost everyone I share it with. Food 2, walnuts, the artery relaxer. If beets are the spark that gets nitric oxide flowing, walnuts are what keeps your arteries flexible enough to use it. Walnuts are rich in an amino acid called larginine, and larginine is the raw material your body uses to actually build nitric oxide in the first place. On top of that, walnuts are one of the few nuts loaded with plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, which help reduce inflammation inside your blood vessels and keep the vessel walls soft and responsive instead of stiff and narrow. Think about it this way. Beets give your body the signal to open the vessels, but walnuts give your body the actual building blocks and flexibility needed to respond to that signal. Without enough larginine, even a strong nitric oxide signal cannot do its job properly. This is exactly why so many men who try one circulation food and quit are missing the bigger picture. Your body needs multiple pieces working together, not just one. I think of my patient Samuel, 70 years old, a retired postal worker who came in complaining about stiffness in his legs after short walks and a noticeable drop in stamina in every sense of the word. We added a small daily handful of raw walnuts to his breakfast. Nothing else changed at first. By the second month, Samuel told me his legs felt lighter on his morning walks, and he mentioned almost shyly that his wife had noticed a change in him too. He said it felt like his body had remembered how to work properly again. Here is how to bring walnuts into your routine. Aim for a small handful, about a quarter cup, most days of the week. Eat them raw or lightly toasted and avoid the sugar-coated or heavily salted versions sold in many stores, since those extra ingredients work against the benefit you are trying to get. Sprinkle them over oatmeal, add them to a salad, or simply eat them on their own as a snack in the afternoon when your energy tends to dip. Now, here is where things get interesting because once you combine beets and walnuts, you have already covered 2 major pathways of circulation, the signal and the building blocks. But there is a third piece to this puzzle, one that protects everything you have just built and makes sure it lasts. This next food works in a way that genuinely surprises most of the men I share it with. And if you are only going to remember one food from this entire video, this might be the one. Before I reveal it, I want to pause here for a second. If this information is landing with you, if you are starting to see why your energy and your performance have not been under your control the way you thought, please take a moment right now and hit that subscribe button. I put out real research-backed information like this every single week, made specifically for men who refuse to accept that getting older means giving up their vitality. It genuinely helps the channel reach more men who need to hear this. So if you have not subscribed yet, now is the moment. All right, let's get into the third and most surprising food on this list. Food 3, pomegranate, the artery protector. Pomegranate might be the most underrated fruit in the entire produce section when it comes to circulation, and I say that as someone who has reviewed the research closely. Pomegranate is loaded with a group of antioxidants called polyphenols, And these polyphenols do two very specific things that matter enormously for men over 60. First, they protect nitric oxide from being broken down too quickly in your bloodstream, which means the nitric oxide your body creates from beets and walnuts actually lasts longer and does more work. Second, pomegranate has been shown in multiple studies to help reduce the stiffening of artery walls that comes with age, which is one of the core reasons circulation slows down in the first place. In simple terms, if beets are the spark and walnuts are the fuel, pomegranate is the shield that protects the whole system from wearing down again. This is the piece most men are missing entirely because they focus only on getting blood flowing in the moment and never think about protecting that improvement for the long run. I remember a patient named Dennis, 69 years old, a retired firefighter who had already tried a few circulation tips he found online with mixed results. He told me he would feel a small improvement for a week or two, and then it would seem to fade. When I explained the role of pomegranate in protecting nitric oxide and softening artery walls, something clicked for him. We added a small glass of pure pomegranate juice or a handful of fresh arrows most days of the week. 3 months later, Dennis told me the improvements he had felt before were finally holding steady. And for the first time in years, he said he felt consistent, not just occasionally good. To bring pomegranate into your life, choose 100% pomegranate juice with no added sugar or eat the fresh arrows directly, which also gives you fiber. The juice does not. A small glass or a half cup of arrows most days is enough to get the protective benefit. If you want an easy habit, keep a container of pomegranate arrows in your fridge and add a spoonful to your morning yogurt or oatmeal. Let's pause here and recap quickly, because these 3 foods work best when you understand how they fit together as a system, not as 3 separate options you pick and choose from. Beets provide the raw nitrate your body converts into nitric oxide, the signal that opens your blood vessels. Walnuts provide l'arginine and healthy fats, giving your body the tools to actually build more nitric oxide and keep vessel walls flexible. Pomegranate protects that nitric oxide from breaking down too quickly and helps keep your artery walls soft and youthful over time. Spark, fuel, shield, that is the order, and that is why using all 3 together produces results that using just one never will. I want to share one more story that shows exactly what this combination can do, because I think it will resonate with a lot of you watching. A patient of mine named Charles, 72 years old, a retired engineer, came to me feeling like he had already tried everything. Cold feet in the morning, low stamina by early afternoon, and a bedroom life that had quietly become a source of real frustration in his marriage. We did not overhaul his entire diet. We simply built these 3 foods into his week: beets a few times a week, walnuts most mornings, pomegranate most evenings. At his 3-month follow-up, Charles looked like a different man. His color was better. His energy lasted through the whole day, and he told me, with genuine emotion in his voice, that his wife had started teasing him about acting 20 years younger. That is not a coincidence. That is what happens when your circulation actually starts working the way it is supposed to. Now, before we get to the simple plan that ties all of this together, I want to talk about a few mistakes I see men make constantly, because avoiding these mistakes will save you months of frustration. Mistake 1, expecting results overnight. Your blood vessels did not stiffen in a week, and they will not repair in a week either. Beets, walnuts, and pomegranate work with your body's natural rhythm. And while some men notice small changes within the first 2 weeks, the deeper lasting changes usually show up over 2 to 3 months of consistent use. Mistake 2, choosing the processed version of these foods instead of the real thing. Beet chips are not the same as fresh or roasted beets. Candied walnuts are not the same as raw or lightly toasted walnuts. Pomegranate. Flavored drinks loaded with sugar are not the same as pure pomegranate juice or fresh arrows. The processing strips away or dilutes the exact compounds you are trying to get more of. Mistake 3, ignoring hydration, movement, and sleep while focusing only on food. Your blood is mostly water. And if you are dehydrated, sitting for most of the day, or sleeping poorly, even the best diet in the world will struggle to move nutrients where they need to go. Food is the foundation, but movement, hydration, and rest are what allow that foundation to actually do its job. Mistake 4. Quitting too early. I have seen men try this approach for 5 or 6 days, feel discouraged that nothing dramatic happened, and give up completely. Real lasting circulation improvement is built from small, boring, repeated choices, not from one dramatic week. Stick with it long enough for your body to respond, and the results tend to surprise even the most skeptical men I work with. So, let's put this all together into something simple you can start using today, because I do not want you leaving this video with information and no action. Here is a straightforward plan you can follow this week and repeat going forward. In the morning, start with a small handful of raw or lightly toasted walnuts added to oatmeal, yogurt, or eaten plain. Drink a full glass of water before your coffee to prime your circulation for the day ahead. Around midday, work in a serving of beets. Whether that is roasted beets in a salad, a small glass of fresh beet juice, or beets blended into a smoothie. This is your nitric oxide boost for the middle of your day, right when your energy tends to start slipping. In the evening, add a small glass of pure pomegranate juice or a handful of fresh arrows, either on their own or mixed into a light dessert or yogurt. This protects and reinforces everything you built earlier in the day, right before your body enters its overnight repair cycle during sleep. Throughout the day, take a 10 to 15 minute walk after one of your meals to keep blood actively moving, and keep a water bottle nearby so you are sipping consistently rather than getting thirsty before you drink. In the evening, dim the lights and step away from screens 30 minutes before bed and aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, since this is when your blood vessels do much of their repair work. Follow this pattern for 1 week, then simply repeat it. By the end of the first week, many men notice warmer hands and feet and a bit more steadiness in their energy through the afternoon. By the end of 2 to 3 months, the changes tend to run much deeper. Better stamina, more consistent performance, and a noticeable shift in overall confidence. If there is one thing I want you to take away from everything we have covered today, it is this. Your body at 60, 70, or even 80 is still capable of real, measurable repair. The tiredness, the cold hands and feet, the frustration in the bedroom, none of that is simply the price of getting older. In most cases, it is your circulation asking for better fuel, and now you know exactly what that fuel looks like. I have spent over 30 years watching men rebuild their energy, their confidence, and their relationships using changes far simpler than most people expect. Beets to open the door, walnuts to give your body the tools it needs, pomegranate to protect everything you have built. Used together consistently. This is a system, not a trend. And systems produce results that quick fixes never can. So here's what I want you to do right now. Add beets to your shopping list this week. Pick up a bag of raw walnuts. Grab a bottle of pure pomegranate juice or a container of fresh arrows. Start tomorrow morning and give yourself the same patience you would give any real repair process in your body. If you found this valuable, type 1 in the comments and let me know where you are watching from tonight, or share the biggest circulation challenge you are personally dealing with. Your story might be exactly what another man needs to read to finally take his first step. If this helped you, hit that like button, share it with a friend who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you do not miss the next video, because we have more coming on. Protecting your prostate and rebuilding your strength from the inside out. You are not past your prime. You are not too old for real change. Your body still knows how to heal. It is simply waiting for you to give it the right instructions. So, start small, start today, and remember, the best years of your energy and your confidence are not behind you.